as we think about The View that Jasmine Crockett was just on, I want you to know something. It's owned by Disney because ABC News is the producer of The View, which is a Disney property. And what's fascinating is that apparently everybody's kind of bummed out these days over at The View. I've told you guys about this before. I mean, I do think that Whoopi may be in the middle of contract negotiations. If you notice, she's not in the new promo for The View. Wonder why? She's not in the new promo. She's actually been really, really quiet on set. The only one that seems to be really trying to be the thorn in Donald Trump's side is this Sunny Houston. Maybe she's locked into something that we don't know about. But she's all worked up right now about something rather specific, and that is the end of DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion. It's actually one of the reasons why I started 76 Research, because I was so sick of seeing all this DEI stuff when it came to markets. Bunch of baloney, I'll tell you. A bunch of baloney. In the real world, you hire the people that can get the job done. You don't care what color they are. You don't care if they're bi or trans or gay or male or female or black or white or Hispanic or Asian. No. In the real world, it's like, can you make me money? Can shareholders make money? Think of how irresponsible it was for all of these companies to embrace DEI rather than embracing just the reality of maximizing shareholder value. They were doing it on Wall Street. They were doing it in the government. And maybe they were even doing it on The View. I mean, Sunny seems to think that she wouldn't have a job if it weren't for DEI. Poor thing. What a racist thing to say. Really, think about it. Watch.
And I think when that equality starts popping up in terms of diversity program, equality now feels like oppression to those people who were at the top of the ladder, not necessarily because of their merit, but because of their identity, right? And so in my view, when you look at the stats, it is really clear from McKinsey, actually, a consulting firm that Pete used to work for, that firm found that companies with more diversity financially and socially outperform those that are less diverse. So the business case for diversity, equity, and inclusion, it makes sense. And I think we can all agree that we want our workforce to reflect what our world looks like.
Thanks to Newsbusters for that clip. You hear her? She's saying, oh, people are so worried now because, they didn't deserve those jobs. They were just there because they were white men, basically. That's what she was getting at. And it's like, but wait a second, Sunny. We had Harvard University getting struck down by the Supreme Court because they were allowing kids into the school that didn't actually qualify to be there at the school, didn't have the test scores, didn't have the grades, didn't have the whatever. And they said, you can't do that anymore because we have this thing called the Constitution. And the Constitution does not allow you to discriminate based on race. And they want to install the discrimination. That's what they want because they think that's their only way to get ahead. I'm sorry. You must think very little of yourself. You must think very little of people like you, Sunny. But she took it one step further. In this next clip I'm going to show you, she actually tried to equate Elon Musk with some kind of plantation owner from the 1770s. Seriously. Insisting that, if we go back to this meritocracy, that she and others like her will never have an opportunity again. I mean, this is sick stuff.
I think he does too, though, don't you?
No, I think he does. But my question, really, I think we need to reframe the discussion. If the problem is these programs, what is the solution? Should we just then depend on the benevolence of Elon Musk and white billionaires to hire women and people of color?
No.
Should we just depend on corporations to, on their own, make the workforce more diverse? They didn't do it from 1776 to 1965.
Right.
Why do we think it's going to be any different?
Why do you think it's going to be different? Maybe because we live in a society where people actually do want to see success. If you're a business owner, you're going to hire the best person for the job. I mean, Sunny, if you get ratings, we'll hire you all day long. But you know what? You don't, honey. We don't want you. Okay? We don't want you. If you suck, you suck. If you're great, you're great. And that's actually all that should matter. That's what's made the United States of America the country we are. Think about it, guys. Capitalism and meritocracy, this is what has made the rest of the world so damn angry at us. This is what they want to destroy. And they nearly did. For goodness sakes, they nearly did. Thank goodness Donald Trump was elected. Thank goodness we have people that have some understanding of how the real world works. Thank goodness we have Elon Musk that's exposing the NGOs and the insane amounts of money. I want every dollar back. I mean, I really do. They squandered it. And it was all how else do you think we suddenly had kids all over college campuses all year long standing up for terror organizations? What was that about? The brainwashing that you saw of all these poor kids because you had stupid programs that were getting all kinds of money from the federal government. Your taxpayer dollars, my taxpayer dollars, go into this junk. Our taxpayer dollars were actually going to media organizations and they never even told us. And they're like, oh, we're the free press. We're the free press. No, you're not. You're getting paid by USAID. Unbelievable. Greg, thank you for the shout out. To your point about can they arrest these governors? Look, I think they're looking at it. They're looking at arresting Letitia James. They're looking at arresting Kathy Hochul. They're looking at, you look at the woman there in Maine. These are all things that are on the table because they're impeding the process of the federal government trying to do their job. And the federal government has jurisdiction over things like the border. That's pretty darn clear. And if you have any doubt, just go back to the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution, all right? This is something that is decided by the feds. And I'll tell you something else. These people, if they're coming into the country illegally, they haven't actually filed for asylum. They're not qualifying for asylum either because they're coming here for better economic opportunity. You go back to what the asylum laws in the U.S., all right? You have to be suffering from persecution or fear of persecution, and you have to be on protected grounds, race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. So none of these people pouring in actually qualify. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. Guess what? The feds have the power, Greg. So, you're right. You might actually start to see them really, really try and push their might around. It won't be pretty. But why are they doing this? What the heck is up with all of them? Disney getting rid of DEI, so that must not be sitting well with Sonny these days. Certainly not. And it's certainly not sitting well with those ladies on The View who are feeling depressed, demoralized, because they're not able to go after Trump as hard as they would like to go after him. Because I don't know, there's this thing called the organization, the FTC, that's actually looking at how ABC gets its licenses. The FCC, forgive me. FCC is actually making the decision, okay, are we going to allow ABC to have these licenses in all of these affiliates? And if these affiliate stations don't really like the programming that ABC is providing for them, and if it's actually so dishonest and fake and not real and not news, then maybe we actually shouldn't be providing that. Maybe we shouldn't allow these affiliates to have the affiliation. And that's what the FCC, because they control the airwaves, actually protects. So I'm sure after Brendan Carr, who's head of the FCC, sent that letter to Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, which owns ABC, I'm sure these ladies are getting a talking to. I've told you that already. It's now being confirmed there in the New York Post. But we've walked through this. And you know who else has absolutely no use for Disney? Oh, By the way, he got a $16 million check as a result of Disney's dishonest reporting. That would be on This Week with George Stephanopoulos, who's on his last legs and probably out of a job. Here he is talking today with a reporter. And guess what he does when he finds out she's from ABC?
Members of Congress in red districts are facing pushback from voters in town halls. We know that Americans voted for you on immigration and the economy, but these voters say they're angry and frustrated by these firings. They don't like the work of Elon Musk and these other actions. What do you say to them?
Who do you work for?
I work for ABC News, sir.
Who?
ABC News.
No wonder. Let me just tell you that I have today the highest poll numbers I've ever had. I have today the highest poll numbers of any Republican president ever. We haven't even checked the Democrats, but that's what I was just told. And they like the job that we're doing. They like the job that Elon's doing. He's doing something that a lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do. We want to streamline our country. We want to streamline, because you know why? Because we want our country to survive and thrive. And we're finding billions and billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse. Billions. And I mean numbers like you wouldn't believe. And we haven't even started yet. So it's actually just the opposite. We've polled it, and people are thrilled. They can't even believe it's happening. And it won't affect many people. It only affect the people that get caught stealing. The waste, fraud, and abuse is at a level like nobody's ever seen. It's been going on for years. And all you have to do is look at the Social Security rolls, look at some of the things, look at where the money is going. The Attorney General's looking into something, environmental protection, $20 billion. And it's out and out fraud. So I think the people are very happy.
Yeah, they're happy. You know why? Because nobody wants their money going to ridiculous projects. Nobody wants fraud in the system. They want that changed, and it's being changed. And so, yeah, his poll numbers are doing great. 70% of the country say he's doing exactly what he promised he'd be doing. And so these people that are not on board, they can fight, they can yell, they can scream. They might actually get in trouble with the courts in some cases. But the reality is this, like, he's won, okay? And the Republicans are going to keep on winning, because the more the governor of Maine wants to tell us that people who have had years of building testosterone in their system are able to compete against girls who are not able to take drugs to build testosterone in their system. I mean, the last I checked, right? You're not able to do that in sports. Give me a break. I mean, it's just absolutely shocking that that's the line they're going to take. And you know what? You're not going to win America with that. People are still actually, simple on that front. As much as you've tried to change the world with your NGO CRAP,